Right. Hello. This is just a quick explanation, a quick prelude to the ensuing video, because I don't make it abundantly clear in the rest of this video really what I'm referring to with all the connections here and the date that I'm really trying to get at. I mean, it is clear, but I'm not like spelling it out, so I just wanted to spell it out just a little bit at the start so you know what I'm talking about and you've got that in your head ready for the video itself. The 1118 date. If you go back and look at my Cross of Lorraine thing, there's a set of numbers called Lucas numbers in there, and anyway, I get to this 1118 number, which is it was also 911, and preceding that number is 711, which is also 911 as well. So we've got this. The date is 1118. I'm looking at, and I mention it in my earlier Hoover Dam videos. And so basically, what I'm going to do is show you a bunch of references to that date now. Now, I don't talk about, I mean, what is coming? Well, I don't really know what's coming. Does anybody know what's coming? But you'll be able to put 2 and 2 together as you watch the video. But this 1118 date, what I've forgotten to mention in the video is the day today, which hopefully this video comes out on the 21st of December, which again is a reference. There is a reference in Back to the Future to this date, and it comes in the format of December being named for the 10th month, which is 10 or 10. So the 1 and the 21, the 1.21 gigawatts, and it's also referenced in that film a couple other places. Even like right at the start when he sends Einstein back in time, it's 1:21 a.m. That 1 minute there and all the rest of it. It's referenced several times in the film, so I ain't got time to go into it right now. But anyway, so this date, this 12/21, the reflection of itself. We've got this conjunction today, which is Jupiter and Saturn, and Jupiter is coming out of Saturn. Basically, they're going to merge, and then we're going to have Jupiter coming out of Saturn, which is Zeus being born from Cronus. Okay, so we've got, we've got that whole Greek thing going on, that whole Greek myth. Now, it's the rebirth of Zeus. Hey Zeus, another rebirth thing. If we go 18 days from this point on, we are on to the first. We're into January, and we're into the 8th of January, which is 18 days on from this date. I think it is anyway. Which is super interesting because we've got this 18 days on, and now we are up to Shorty's birthday, Kim Jong-un, the Stay Puft, Elvis's birthday, David Bowie's birthday, and it's also the year that Diana gets married, the 81, the 18. So it's the year you marry the fiction, that you become involved with the fiction. I don't know, it's all the same references, but anyway, I just wanted to put that in at the start, so you've got this in your head now. As you watch the video, you'll see what I'm getting at when I give you certain dates and certain things and certain ideas. And that's it really. It's just a little prelude to warm you up to that idea. Now, I've mentioned 1118 before, but are we really looking at the 8th of January? We've got an 18 encoded right there, and January itself is encoded. The 11 is encoded in January in Janus, and you'll see the links as we go through the video. So an interesting time coming up, and some interesting numbers falling into alignment, and I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose, as per usual. I mean, nothing will happen, but anyway. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention, and I forgot what it was now. So, darn it. Oh well, anyway, doesn't matter. Enjoy the video. Cheers. Bye. What are we looking at down on the side of the screen here? Britannia. Royal Britannia. Here she is, the mother goddess. She's dressed up in the blue and white, the same as the Virgin Mary. Interesting, isn't it? This is the thing you were born from. This is the fictional control system here. This is the corporate control system. This is all, you know, I mean, whatever you want to call it. This is the legal system. This is all these things that control you. Government, the monarchy, all these things rolled into one. Now, look at this. Look at the Union Jack here on the Union flag. I don't know what even the proper name for it is, but anyway, you all know what it is if you're British, like myself. I've always called it the Union Jack. Now, what we really are looking at here is the double cross, and of course you got the blue and white for the fiction, and you got the cross, the red cross for man. Okay, the living man. This thing's got to be balanced. You know, there's a reason why the British Empire was so successful. Maybe it was just because of this symbolism here. Maybe that's why it was thrown to the forefront of the you know, the storybook, just based off of, you know, symbolism that it was using at the time. This could be why certain companies are very successful, because they use symbolism that the system itself, you know, the whole reality wants to push as a metaphor, you know. So it's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, it was a long time ago. I watched a guy talking about, you know, companies that use sacred symbols, and you know, that I think that may have been what he was trying to get at. That's why they were so successful. Anyway, I'm getting distracted already. I've got a ton of stuff to get through. But who is this character really? So you've got the Mother Mary there, the Virgin Mary. But who is she? Well, she's derived from this character, Athena. Oh, look. There she is with her owl. This will get everybody going on the Mason stuff and all the rest of that, the Illuminati and all that, and blah, blah, blah. And here she is holding Nike Victory in her hand, you know, another aspect of Athena herself. So this is who we're dealing with. Well, I mean, I can go through the whole lot of this, but hang on a minute. Let's see what else I got up here, because I got some. Hang on a minute. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's cut to this character here, Artemis, the moon. Diana. Talked about Princess Diana before, but you know, we're going to really get into it now. So Artemis, who's Artemis? You know, very closely related to. Let's put it that way. And we're dealing with, much like Athena, you know, she's a maiden, and we're just dealing with another very similar aspect. Let's look at siblings. Athena's on there. Ares is on there. Getting on to Ares, I watched Wonder Woman the other day. I don't have an image up for her, but Wonder Woman is called Diana in the latest version that, you know, that Hollywood's brought out, and she's Athena again. You know, we're dealing with the same entity. So that thing that's on the side of Billy Idol's arm, Octobriana, is Athena. We're dealing with the same. It's just the same thing. It's just the moon. You know, the same way as Venus is. You know, it's all just roll it all into one. Basically, that's the easiest way of looking at it. If it's a woman, you can basically just roll it all into the moon. You know, at some point there's a relationship there with all these different goddesses. to the fiction. You know, I'm not saying that there aren't male versions of it as well, but so many of these goddesses are related back to the moon, and it's it's the simplicity of the reality, which is there's two sides to reality: male, female, and one side is one side, and it's just a play between the two sides. And usually the feminine side is the spiritual side. This is why the moon is related to the spiritual side, and then the sun is related to the more physical side, and the aspects of man and woman and blah yada yada yada. It's the same old stuff. Or we're just going around in circles, sort of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with women, and not that there's. It's just a metaphor. We don't have to get bent out of shape over any of this stuff. It's just all metaphors for the way reality works. All right. Okay. So the temple of Athena is actually. Do I have a picture of it up somewhere? Come on. I thought I had it up here, but it probably all spouts from this, really, from ancient Egypt. It's probably where the Greeks got most of their influence from. And this is Abydos, and you can see the similarities with that. Let's look at this. The Lincoln Memorial, yes, and there's another thing that it's based off of, which I may get to. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Here's the Temple of Athena. This is in Athens, the Parthenon. Very, very famous, of course, and there's some reproductions of it. And this is basically what we're dealing with, this Greek temple. Look at the side of this thing. Look at the side of this thing. Look at the side of this thing. The pillars, the same as where we were just on, Abydos. There's the temple of Nike Athena. It's all the same stuff, Who else we got up here? We can. Oh dear, I don't think I got any more here. But this is. I tell you what is interesting. So I just showed you the Hoover building. If you didn't know what that was already, this is in London. I come across. We'll get onto this later on in the thing, but I just want to reference it now before I get lost in all these different tabs. But this Hoover building appears somewhere else, and I don't know how many of these sort of Art Deco buildings exist like this in the world. To my knowledge, there's not a whole bunch of them, but let's go to Seattle. And this building here, this is quite close to this, because I listen to this. I've been listening to this guy that does gematria type stuff. Jurassic Liars 26, right? And he keeps going on about Elvis and the Space Needle and something happening there. Well, this building that resembles the Hoover building, again, the temple. Look at the colours of it for starters, the blue and white. Well, where is it at? Let's just X this off of here so I can get back to the map, hopefully. This thing, if it'll pop back up, is right at, minus this out a bit down, this thing is right at the bottom of this lake. And what we've got here, minus it out a bit more, this is, and we've got Capitol Hill here. This is all interesting stuff. But we've got the Space Needle down here somewhere. I don't even know where it's gone. But trust me anyway, there it is, there's the Space Needle. So not, no, a bit further than spitting distance, but not that far away. But we've got Lake Union. I love it. Or Union Lake. I'm not quite sure how that's described. But we've got this, again, this temple type thing, very much like the Hoover building, very much like Abydos, the Temple of Seti, I think that is, the setting sun, and the Parthenon, and all these other temples that are there for the fiction, you know, for the spirit side of things. And what have we got here? We've got a womb again. We've got a, you know, two ducks coming into the womb, and at the bottom of the womb we've got the needle. We've got the temple again, and we've got the space needle here. This space needle represents quite a lot of different aspects of the whole metaphor. You've got the eye of the needle, and the eye of the needle is that shape of the Vesica Pisces, the holiest of holy holes. You know, the thing that you've got to come out of is the top of that needle, basically. This is what the guide goes on about on Jurassic Liars, is about Elvis shooting through or shooting off the top of the space needle or something like that. This space needle exists somewhere else, and we'll get onto it later as well. But it's an observation tower. The observation tower is the control tower. It's the beacon of false light. You know, it's the lighthouse, the beacon, the thing that admits the signal that controls everything in the vicinity, you know. So this thing, unfortunately, does have to go in order for control to be removed. Anyway, I won't say much more about it, but this is loaded with interesting stuff. Seattle, I mean, it's absolutely loaded with the links to Washington, Capitol Hill here, and links back to, you know, of course, Rome and all the rest of it. If I minus out a bit, we'll see another little link here with all these gods and everything else. In fact, I've got to go quite a ways out. The name itself, hang on a minute, Seattle. Zoom back in so we can see it. The sea, the fictional sea, and then you've got a balance. Here's your two crosses. You've got a cross for, this is the double cross again in the middle of here. The cross of Lorraine and the cross of Christ. The two things that have to be balanced. And here's your, you know, L at the end of it, your God. So this is what's got to be balanced. You also got the ATT, and if you remember, I was going on about the $1 bill, and we did a bit of a breakdown of it. Well, there's a few more things on there that I've since come across, but I'm not doing a video on that today. But the ATT, again, it's that double cross again. You've got the two crosses that have to be balanced, the material aspect of nature and the fictional aspect of the realm as well. You know, the thing that you generate in your head. But you've got that 8 there, ATE, 8, or the double T, and the A double T. You know, I mean, go around in circles again with that. But anyway, let's minus out. Let's see some other stuff. You've got 5 highway coming up here that's actually splits, and actually you've got 99 on one side, 66, 99. You've got the number of man, and you've got the perfect number of balance, 5, on the other side of it. If I go to, well, I don't know. Hang on a minute, I got my lupus numbers. Oh no, lupus numbers right here. This is perfect balance here. Okay, in fact, perfect balance between man, the 6 is the 9. The perfect balance sits right in between here, between the 6 and the 9 at 5.5, at 55. see a complete cycle here is 55. We'll get back onto this here in a little bit. But you've got the sum here of this is 9, and then you've got the 11 on the balance side, and the sum of this is 9 here on the number for man, 6. This is in my Cross the Lorraine video, but these are important numbers, I think. Anyway, and I'll get back onto this with the 711 and then the 1118, which is super relevant, I think, anyway. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was back at Seattle. Bloody hell, this video is going to be long. But just quickly, zoom out a bit more. The highway that runs into those two highways is 101. 101 highway, and that highway comes all the way up from the Golden Gate Bridge, and actually it goes all the way. It actually comes all the way up from Los Angeles. You know, the Lost Angels. I know that's probably not what Los Angeles stands for, but it's interesting, isn't it? Everybody says the City of Angels. Well, I say just think about it simply. You know, some of these metaphors are pretty simple. Lost angels. And if you think about I mean, I'm not downing anybody from Los Angeles, but if you think about the image of people from Los Angeles, they come across as a bit lost, don't they, in terms of grounding to reality. I don't know. Anyway, 101 comes all the way up the coast, all the way along the sea, so it's balanced between land and sea. Okay, the yellow brick road, if you like. Why is it the yellow brick road? Because it's the coastal road. The yellow brick road, follow the path of the sun, or the yellow brick road could be the sand of the beach, the joining of the fictional waters, sorry, I'm over here, the fictional waters and the land, the yellow brick road. 101 represents this coastal route. This is the yellow brick road that leads into Seattle. I think it's called the Emerald City. I think the guy on Jurassic Lives mentions this. You know, that it's called the Emerald City. Well, this is yellow brick road right here. It's going around the coast. It's the sand that's between those two things. I've said this before in other videos about the corona. This is why people are on the beach all the time. You know, the beach is the joining between those two things. It is the corona, if you like, Highway 101. It's an interesting thing as well because it also references the moon goddess. One crescent here, the full moon, and then another crescent here. And then we get into Janus and Bifrons and all this stuff, and actually some other interesting festivals that take place in January. But I ain't got time to go on that. But anyway, hang on a minute. We're going around Mount Olympus here, where the gods hang out. The gods, the Olympian gods, being this bunch. And Zeus, of course. Zeus. I don't like to say hey Zeus, but you know, when we start looking at names here, you know, it's interesting that some of these names have little reflections of other people that we deal with. Cronus and the Pona, you know. Rhea is Hera. Yeah, just change the letters around, and we've got this same thing, and we've got here's Athena next to Artemis, the moon goddess again, and sun here again. Different aspects of Zeus. You know, why different aspects of Zeus? Because Zeus balances these things. You know, this is why they come from him. So these are all balance aspects of this guy. And I mean, I guess you could say Jesus to a certain extent as well, coming from, you know, again, Father Time, the fictional mother. I mean, it's all the same stuff, just repeated over and over down, you know, over and over and over again, you know. So we start seeing some names popping up. We start seeing some interesting stuff. You know, the Lost Angels, which is what we are. You've got to make this trek up the yellow brick road to up to the Emerald City. And then when you finally get to the Emerald City, everything is revealed, isn't it? You find out that really what's controlling you is just a little man behind a bloody curtain. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about it, really. That's that one, that aspect of this done to death. But interestingly enough, another character that pops up in Seattle is Daphne Moon, Daphne Crane, that she turns into when she marries. I guess she marries. You know, I used to watch Frasier a long time ago, but I haven't watched it in years and years and years, and I never seen the whole series through. You know, but look at the date they've got for the character being born, 1961, coincides with Diana. She was born 61. Nee Moon. Daphne Crane. What does the crane do? It delivers the goods. Is it a crane? Is a crane a stork as well? Is that another name for a stork? The same thing that delivers the baby. You know, the crane. It's all the same stuff. She delivers the son. She's even pregnant during the series. I mean, this thing is absolutely loaded. Look at her name. The gal that plays Daphne Moon. Leaves. Got the Eve, the Adam and Eve in there. I mean, blimmin' hell. Interestingly, Jane, I don't know if Jane is a derivative of, well, it could be to do with Janus again, Janus and Janus, or it could also be to do with, I don't know if I've got her up here. Yeah, here we go. Let's just flip to this real quick. Could be to do with this character. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I just say Juno. And again, this is another aspect of Athena. And what does she wear? What does she have? She has a goat skin cloak. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because what was we saying about the goat being with the, you know, shone up on the dam, and the goat reference with the dam, and Athena, who has the shield, a goat skin shield. It's real interesting, isn't it? So that goat skin shield, you know, so now we've got with the Hoover Dam having the goat shone on the side of it. You've got that reference again to the goat, and I can't remember where I was going to go with this now, but yeah, just another reference. I was going to say something, but it's completely gone out of my brain. But anyway, yeah. So you just see, you know, and I mean, it's just absolutely loaded, isn't it? I mean, there's another one we're going to get onto in a minute there. Oh boy, I've got so much stuff up here. Let's just flip back to Daphne a minute. The first episode that she appears in, The Good Son. The last episode is Good Night, Seattle. When does it take place? Aired on the 13th of May, 2004. Interesting. But, you know, I mean, I'm not going to go through all this. But there's a ton of references in here. Yeah, she is a firm believer in the supernatural and her psychic abilities and all this stuff. You know, it's all interesting. But, you know, Daphne is another name for the moon, you know. Oh, what to say? You just can't write this stuff, you know. Obviously, somebody did write it, but there's a bunch of look at all of her relations in the in the in the in Frasier. Harry Moon, Gertrude Moon, Simon Moon. Oh, is that a that's an actor as well, isn't he? Nigel Moon, Michael, Billy Moon, you know, Peter Moon, David Moon, Martin Crane. That's the father. And Frasier. I haven't even looked to think what Frasier means. But anyway, enough about that. You know, I mean, you can't write this stuff. 65 picking 1961. It's obviously a reference to Princess Diana. And we'll get into the Princess Diana reference. Let's just jump straight into the Princess Diana reference. You just not believe this stuff. Family history. I guess, is that a good place to start? Family history. There's a couple of things I really don't want to miss out with Diana here. Family history. So we've got Seattle in Washington. Okay, and this guy, again, I'm back to the Jurassic Liars guy, keeps making a link with Washington and George Washington with Seattle. Well, here's a good link right here with Daphne Moon there, and God knows what other links there are to Seattle but let's have a link with Diana now to I don't know if it's on this bit or not. Jeez, this is time. Yeah, this is time. Okay, let's have a link to her family tree. So let's see. Well, some people will already know this, but she's related to Winston Churchill. I don't know if you've noticed, but Winston that name seems to pop up a lot, doesn't it, in films? Yeah, I don't know anybody called Winston in real life, but it's something that pops up. So anyway, here we are. Here's the first Sir Winston Churchill. And it says here actually she had more English royal blood in her veins than Prince Charles does, you know. Proper English blood, you know, not German English blood. But let's look at some other Kingsman worldly affairs. Let's look here. Look, George Washington. Here we go. Straight away is the 8th cousin 7 times removed. I don't know how closely related that really is, but related to George Washington. Okay, related to who else? John Adams. John Quincy Adams. I mean, there's a ton of Adams in here. Calvin Coolidge. Can't say that word, but that name. But he precedes Hoover, Herbert Hoover, as president, I think, or something like that. I don't know. It's probably on there. But anyway, Millard Fillmore, blah, 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 blah. Grover Cleveland. Cleveland is one of these. This link has come up several times as well, that I've seen floating about. And here we go. Franklin D. Roosevelt. I mean, these two were in cahoots during the war, weren't they? I think there's some pictures of them together. All related. Oh, look, there was another Henry Adams, a historian. So heavily related to Adamses. The Adams family. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. So there's a ton of American presidents that are related to her, or in some way or another. She's got some heavy relations over here. Here's Herbert Hoover. I didn't see, yeah, preceded by Calvin Coolidge. I don't know how you say that. Coolidge. Anyway, enough of that. What else to say about that, really? But I do have some more stuff on her actually. While I'm, because that's what it's all about. This whole thing I think is. Let's jump onto some dates real quick. No, I can't find her up here. Actually, there was another thing I want. Spencer family. Let's just jump onto Spencer family real quick because I want to just show you this coat of arms. Super interesting. Let's see if I can get a bigger picture for you. I about crapped when I saw this. Excuse my French. But again, there's a double cross inside the square control system. You know, the 10 square miles of Washington DC. You know, so before I forget though, I'll talk about this in just a second. Before I forget, with the Washington thing, if you watch my other videos about the Hoover Dam, there's a reference with Washington as well, having the same sort of layout with the water sort of forming that womb shape, and then the White House being there. So we've got 3 different potential areas to look at that all reference one another. Because the 101, I think Hoover Dam, Gematra's out to 101. 101 Highway, and then there was also the 101 event in Vegas, that shooting, the Harvest shooting. So there's a bunch of 101 references, which also reference up to following that yellow brick road up to Seattle. And if we look at the layout of those places, very similar sort of geographical, metaphoric womb situations. Anyway, well, getting back onto this, you've got the red and the gold of the man and the control system, and it's almost interweaved like a knot there as well. But you've got the double cross. I thought that's nice. But this, I about crapped when I saw this. So we've got I guess that's a clamshell. I don't know what kind of shell that is. But anyway, where does the pearl come from? The pearl comes from inside the shell, inside the clamshell, or whatever kind of shell the bit of grit gets stuck in. The bit of grit that gets then turned into something beautiful by so something natural, a piece of grit gets turned into this sort of this beautiful thing. And so this is the mother of the pearl. The mother of pearl. And so anyway, the pearl is all about the moon. This is where the moon comes from, okay? Now, I don't know if you remember a film, Demolition Man. That film, I really need to go back and watch it again because it's been years since I've watched it. But anyway, Sylvester Stallone comes out of cryogenic, comes out of the freezer and he's reanimated. I think he's done some time for a crime or something, but he was a good guy. And end up getting frozen. Anyway, comes back to life. Anyway, in the film, there's no toilet paper in the future when he comes back to life. So, I mean, this whole thing with the toilet paper shortage. Oh my goodness, this is now echoing Demolition Man in the future. Okay, and the Demolition Man is the man that's going to demo the dam, So, we've got no toilet paper in the future, right? Right now, we've got no toilet paper. So, in the film, the substitute for the toilet paper is the seashells. And I can't remember if it's the three seashells or not. But anyway, regardless to say, the seashells are the replacement for the toilet paper, which was just a nice link, wasn't it? It's also the place where the pearl comes from, which is the moon. With that being said, there's some interesting stuff in here. I'm not going to go through it all because there's a ton of other stuff that I want to get onto. So we're not going to go through anything else. But that coat of arms was just. Here's your other little reference. See this Spencer Churchill coat of arms. Look at this all over the place. But that thing gets squished, and the fact that it's on its side like this, I was just saying to the kids the other day, that's basically a diamond, because we were doing what were we doing? Shapes in maths. And so this is basically becomes a diamond when it's going this way, you know. Interesting, isn't it? And down here it is more of a diamond shape where it's been squished. But you know, diamond. Let's just talk about diamond again, because where does that term come from? It's interesting that the diamond is on that coat of arms as well. Let's see if I've got a picture of a diamond up here. Spencer family ticket to the moon. I'm sure I had a picture of a diamond up here. And I'm sorry that this is so all out of whack. Diamonds are forever. Another thing to get onto. I thought I had a picture of a diamond. Let's just go. Oh, actually, it might have been. Let's just go to this now and we'll reference it right now. Here we go. Here's a diamond. Here's a picture of a diamond. Okay. You know, let's look at the name diamond first. Let's find the name diamond before we get onto the shape of it. Diamond. Here we go. Here's how you spell diamond. Actually typed it incorrectly. D-I-A-M-O-N-D-S. Diamonds. Now, why diamonds? Why not just D-I? Well, Diana. Are you getting this? Diana and M-O-N. M-O-O-N. We got Diana at the start of there and Mond and Moon at the back end of it. Reference to the moon again. Look at this thing here, the satellite that's up in the. It's, you know, a diamond satellite that's in the sky in Diamonds Are Forever, that's blowing stuff up. And on the thing to blow up, what do they blow up first? I can't remember, but I do believe that. Washington DC may be in the target there. I'm not for 100% sure. Anyway, look at the shape of a diamond. Okay, so it's a square, or which we've just determined. But look at the way it's cut. Look at the way man cuts a diamond. It's in the shape of a womb. Wonderful. I'll tell you what else is referenced in Diamonds Are Forever. Vegas is referenced, heavily referenced. The White House is referenced. Willard White is the guy that's, well, he's taken prisoner. He's kind of kidnapped by Blofeld. And Blofeld has a number of doubles in this. So we're dealing with, it's actually heavily loaded, the film. It's not that great of a film, really, but it's heavily loaded with, you know, how the system works and the moon references and all this stuff. You know, he's wearing the grey, you know, and he's got clones of himself. So Bond doesn't know who he's really killing. Anyway, I'm just waffling now. During the film, he goes through one of these fake sets, you know, with the moon, you know, the moon landing fake set type thing. Oh dear, you know, you just can't write the stuff anyway. Of course, this is about smuggling some diamonds into America for to build this satellite thing that's going to destroy this laser that's going to destroy the world, or at least hold the world to ransom. I don't know. Anyway, there's just a ton of references in it, and of course another reference is the Landmark Hotel, which I don't think I've got a picture of here, but I'm going to show you it. Anyway, Bond ends up going up the side of it during the film. It's not a heavy reference, but it's in there. And I don't know if I've got a picture of the landmark here. What have I got? Oh dear. I thought I had it up actually, because it's in another very interesting film as well, which we'll get to in just a second. So here's the Landmark Hotel. It's already been demoed. In fact, it's in two other interesting films. So we've got in Diamonds Forever, and I had it right here. Jeez, Dan. Mars Attacks. Here we are. And again, we've got the A-double-T here. And let me just talk about that A-double-T and the at, because during this film, when the aliens are talking, they're saying at all the way through it. I'm sure they're saying it, or eight at eight. So apart from referencing this, I think it's also referencing this another goddess, and this is the goddess of mischief, delusion, ruin, and she pops up something to do with. I'm sure she popped up something to do with. She's something to do with Zeus anyway, and I just thought it was interesting because this is one of those anagrams that I found on the dollar bill that seems to appear to be on the dollar bill when you fold it a certain way. The T, TEA, and 8, and of course you get the number 8 from that, you know. So you've got the 1 and the 8 on the dollar bill. But anyway, go back to Mars Attacks. Oh God, can't find it now again. I tell you, I've got to figure a better way of doing this. Where was it, guys? There it is. Mars Attacks. This film is it's not that great of a film, but it's got an absolute ton of celebrity actors in it, if you know what I mean. Well-known actors. We've got Michael J. Fox in it, you know. We've got Danny DeVito's. There's a lot. There's a ton of his films that are significant. Pierce Brosnan with Goldeneye, he's in it. Who else is in it that's super? Oh, we got Jack Black in it. You know, the whole 21 Vegas thing. Blackjack is 21. 21's a year coming up now. I mean, they didn't have to have him in it. I mean, we got Jack Nicholson in it, and I mean, Jack Nicholson stuff is just loaded, absolutely loaded. Again, another reference to Jack. Jack going up the beanstalk. I don't know what else to say. Boy. What do I want to say about this film? Let me just talk about a couple of things in the film. Right. Spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about the film now. So if you've not seen it and you want to see it, to do something different, look at some of the numbers that pop up here. 101. And I don't know if there was a reference to when it was released. We've got a January release date. Nothing crazy, but box office 104, 101 in there. But during the film, the Landmark Hotel is destroyed. Okay. Also during the film, I'm trying to think of some relative stuff. We've got this. Oh, I'll tell you who else is in it. Tom Jones, which is an interesting link, because again, a link to Wales and Diana again, the Princess of Wales. A link to Elvis and Vegas again. He did a lot of shows in Vegas, and he was actually mates with Elvis for a while. And what else am I going to say about Tom Jones? The Jones on the end of it, and David Bowie is also a Jones. He's a David Jones, but I think the story goes that he went with David Bowie because there was always Davy Jones already existed in the Monkees at the time, so he needed a different name was the excuse. Anyway, just an interesting link, a heavy link there. Yeah, with old Tom Jones, and he's got some interesting songs as well, like Delilah and whatnot. Anyway, during the film, I'm just really waffling now. During the film, Pierce Brosnan is the scientist, and they end up dissecting one of these brains on this thing. And this is the thing that's controlling you. It's all mind control. The green fiction, of course, and what's controlling you is the thing generated from this, the fiction generated from the mind. So anyway, they open up one of these brains, and he looks inside, and it's just green goo. And I just thought that was interesting because what I get from Mars attacks is SARS attacks, and what we've got going on now with the Wu flu, and the way he looks in the brain goes, oh, that's interesting. It's this very same stuff that comes out of your nose when you get a cold, the same thing as what SARS is, the same thing as what the Wu flu is. It's just a common cold. The very same thing that they can't cure the common cold, yet we can produce a vaccine for a version of it in, less than, what's it been? I don't know how long it's been now. 8 months? I don't know. Something like that. It's not even been a year. It's just all ridiculous storyline. Anyway, the other interesting thing about this film is that when these guys come, there's an interpreter machine, and what basically ends up happening is every time the aliens do a meeting with the humans, they end up just shooting everybody and killing a bunch of humans, right? And the men keep going, well, every time the interpret machine, it just sounds like the aliens are here to be nice and everything else. The interpret machine says, oh, we're here, we're your friends, basically. And then all of a sudden they start blasting people. And when they're up on their ships, they're all laughing in the background, And it's the same with the fictional system. There's a different language there, And this is what man doesn't realize. He doesn't realize what what the fictional system's talking. He doesn't really truly understand the language. And so I just thought it was an interesting thing. I mean, the film is loaded, as it, in terms of films, it's not the greatest film, but it's absolutely loaded with information. I think there was something else I wanted to mention about the film, apart from, oh yeah, also Jack Nicholson plays the president, and he also plays the role of the businessman type casino owner. So it's you've got that Yanis double thing again, like what people go on about with Trump. So another interesting thing, and also where they have the first meeting is out in the I think it's Nevada. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Nevada desert. So the first thing set up, I would say, to reference the dam. There's 4 towers, and you have to just watch the film, and maybe I'll go through it one day. But it's interesting. And then the second place that they blow up, I think, is I don't know if Vegas is next, and then Washington DC. But anyway, it's Congress, and also there's a reference to the Space Needle coming down again. The Vegas version, the landmark one, comes down. So boy, I don't know. You know, I haven't got time to go through all this stuff really. Then we're up to the landmark. It's 1:55 in the morning. Jeez. You see how when I look at the clock, you know, the numbers. Did I already mention the landmark? I can't even remember what I've done in this now. You got the opening date, and there's some other interesting dates in there. The 8A and all this stuff, and I think I did mention it, didn't I? Because we talked about. Did we talk about this? This set of coordinates, the 36, the 11.5, 155, 808, all numbers renovated in 71, 83. What's 83? I don't know, but that is an interesting number, 83, as well. I don't know what else to say about it. There's just so many numbers to pick up on. Let's just pick up on the Space Needle, Las Vegas. Here it is. The Galaxy Hotel is what it's called in Mars Attacks. But here it is, you know, and this actually shows up in this film. We'll get down to it in a minute, but this is Viva Las Vegas. Look at here we go with Elvis. And if you anagram Elvis with or anagram Las Vegas, you can get very close to Elvis. You've got to substitute the I for an A, but you can kind of, you get Elvas. I mean, it's pretty close. Obviously named for it, and you know, this is where Elvis spends most of his time, is Vegas. This is what he's known for, is Vegas. Anyway, during this film, and I've mentioned this one before, look how he's dressed, all in black, apart from the Vesica Pisces here, where his head's popping out of. He's singing Viva Las Vegas here. But anyway, yeah, the fiction, the Black Moon, you know, the Black Pearl, the eclipse, and out pops Elvis from it. And this film is absolutely loaded as well. I don't know if I've even got time to go through this, but if I go back to here, we've got several points in the film, and you know, the film is about him meeting a girl, falling in love with her, but during that he has to make some money to do the thing that he wants to do, which is, if I hit this just at the right time, it'll pause it before it starts playing and I get a copyright strike. He has to, if I can find this, here she is coming on, dressed like the moon, you know, in white, the spotlight, I guess, I don't know if that is actually a spotlight behind her or what that is, but it looks like a spotlight behind her. But the moon. But anyway, he ends up losing some money when he meets her. He's flirting with her, loses some money, and that he's going to buy a new engine for his race car, and he's going in the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, anyway, ends up getting the money for the engine, but she doesn't want him to race. So she's already imposing the control, yet what Elvis does is he goes ahead and races anyway, and he says, well, you can either help or, you know, I'm going ahead and racing. Anyway, it's interesting. This is the talent contest where he's trying to get the money, win some money to basically pay for his engine for his car. Anyway, she's called Rusty, he's called Lucky, and his mate that's helping him with his race car is called Shorty. And we'll get to Shorty here. Anyway, she strips off. And I just thought this was an interesting point here at the end of this. You know, I mean, what is this referencing to? But you've got kind of the 99 red balloons. You've got the Eye of Hal here from 2001. I just thought it was an interesting reference, you know. I don't know, 99 red balloons. I don't know what that reference is in terms of the moon, but you know, I always think of the blood moon. Anyway, maybe it's a reference to the blood moon. Who knows? But there was that other guy, Enter the Stars, that was going on about 99 red balloons and helium and other stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get into that right now because it's getting way too waffly. But anyway, so in the film, basically, he falls in love with the fictional character of the woman who wants to control him, and he still goes ahead anyway, and he races his race. He gets the engine. He races his race, and he ends up winning. Spoiler alert: he ends up winning the thing. So this is the Grand Prix that he's entering. It's on the 4th of July. Independence. And interestingly, it's grey with a silver road. I don't know what that refers to, but here, look, she's under the control centre. This is also, this beacon is also held by the Statue of Liberty. This is the same thing that's got the flames coming out the top, and we'll get onto that in a minute as well. But anyway, she's underneath that. Got the white moon. She's showing you the moon, and I don't know what we're looking at here. This is the sun, you know, so this is the false light of the moon. This is the flames coming out of this thing, which would be the flames coming out of the moon, the control center. The man in the moon is the controller. Okay, interestingly enough, I can't remember what this guy's called. He's the Italian race car driver. I can't remember what his name is. It might come to me in a minute. But they're both, you know, infatuated with her. They're both trying to win her over. She's got a white sports car. And it shows you they're controlled by the fiction right now, because he's wearing grey for the moon and he's wearing the blue for the, you know, the blue and the white of the fiction. So anyway, interestingly enough, when he races his final race, I'm pretty sure he's wearing orange, and when he wins the race. So again, interesting colours, just basic stuff, but very interesting. Hang on a minute, let's just look, see. I can't remember if there was another scene that I wanted to look at. That was it, I think. Yeah, anyway, you've seen the tower there, and it's the same one that's in the thing there. That's it for that. Do I have any more interesting things to say? I just wanted to say, not really, because there's no point in going through any of that stuff. The David Bowie thing, let's just take a look at David Bowie, because I just talked about him with Tom Jones. You know, here he is, Robert Jones. 8th of January, same birthday as Elvis, which I wouldn't have come across had this other guy not been talking about Elvis's birthday all the time. He dies, he brings out Black Star, which I actually had already found out that Elvis did a song called Black Star. And what is the Black Star? The Black Star is when the sun is the same as the Black Pearl. It's when the moon goes in front of the sun. It's the thing we're under now. It's the coronal eclipse, you know. And so that's what controls you, you know. The Black Star is the control. That's the thing that's not, the Black Star is the thing that's not in balance with the sun. Okay, it's the thing that's controlling the sun. That's the thing you want to come out of. Anyway, he dies 2 days later on his 69th birthday, no doubt, and he brought this thing out on his birthday, this album, which is absolutely loaded. And I'll do a thing on that sometime. But David Bowie's, you know, I mean, I don't know what to say about David Bowie. He's just absolutely loaded. you know, with the eye and the he also big fan of Elvis, and of course has the lightning bolt as a logo. I don't know if it's Ziggy Stardust or what, but you'll see it on his outfit sometimes, especially when he did all that spaceman stuff. But yeah, oh yeah, interestingly, his son Duncan Jones did a film, The Moon. I've seen the film, and again, not coming out of the bloody fiction. You know, this guy's, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, or just cover your ears right now, but this guy is a clone, and he has to leave his, you know, one version of himself behind, travel back to Earth. And he's being controlled by, you know, the control system, and he's on the moon. You know, I mean, it's the same stuff over and over again. But that film is actually referenced. David references that film at the start of Black Star, with a spaceman outfit, you know, a spacesuit, on the moon. I don't know what else there is to say, really. I've gone through a ton of stuff. God knows what I've missed out. There is some stuff I know I've missed out. Oh, talking about coming out of Vegas and coming out of the... just one quick thing. Juno again. This goddess of, you know, mother goddess thing again. Kim Jong-un. Look at this name and then think of Kim Jong-un and how that name looks similar and is sort of within that name. Okay, I just thought that was interesting. Again, you know, don't know what that means. Just another reference back to it all, isn't it? Let's just look at birthdays a minute. 61. Diana would be 60 this year. She dies at the age of 36, and this is all relevant because the Hoover Dam is built, or is finished, in 36, I think. I'm trying to think what other things. There's a lot of references to dates that end in a 1. I think the Twin Towers are finished in 71. So, you know, gosh, I just don't know where to go with it all. You know, there's so many references. But as for dates, 2021, she would be 60. The interesting thing about 6 as a balanced number is 60 appears at the bottom of the clock face, and it also appears at the top of the clock face. And that's even without doing my... I don't know if I ever showed you that, but I can't show you on this video. But if you make a clock face and just carry on putting the numbers, you know, after you get to, you know, you do the 24-hour clock around, you start at 1, you know, start at 0 and just go around and around, and it goes up in 12s. Now you can go up to whatever number you want to go up to, and then you can see what all the numbers that sort of fit together. I don't know if that's a very good way of explaining it, but needless to say, if you look at a clock face that has minutes on it as well, 6 o'clock at the bottom, where man is born from, is also referenced at the top as 60 as well, and the top would be coming to full enlightenment. You know, it's the summer where the sun is, or midday where the sun is at the highest point in the sky. This is why 12 is a very important number, and 24 and 48 and any kind of multiple of 12. And of course she dies on a multiple of 12 on her 36th birthday, which is also interesting for some of these other dates. And anyway, if you were to look at some of these places, excuse me, some of these films that I've been talking about, seems like these multiples of 10 ending with a 1, 2001, and David Bowie, David Bowman returning home from the Odyssey 20 years, which is Odysseus returns 20 years after he's left, and that's when he returns home. That's the homecoming, and that's the awakening of man. The Star Child is born, and that's 2021. Blackjack. What's Vegas known for is, you know, I suspect that's probably the most popular game. That and slot machines. 21. Anyway, so we would be 60 years, and so that would be the top. That would be man ascending to the top of the clock face, and it's the same number, which is interesting. So we've got the 99 and the 66. I've seen a 66 somewhere. I think it was to do with that tower when it was designed, the landmark. You know, but you just can't write this stuff. Diana, diamond, pearls around the neck, and she's always wearing pearls or diamonds. This is why women wear diamonds, you know, and pearls. You know, it's the feminine again. Silver coin there for her. I think I've got to leave it there, to tell you the truth. I mean, we'll be going around in circles if I start talking about anything else. There's some other interesting stuff. Just one quick thing, because the date that's popped up, let me just talk about this very quickly. The date that's popping up for me right now is January. And January is the first month. But the name of it implies, you know, if January is number 1, Janus is the two-faced character, which would be a 1 and a 1. That's how you get your double, you know, your twin, your clone. So January is named for that, okay? And there are a bunch of festivals here which are worth looking up, to do with Janus and to do with Commentalia, which is basically, look at this. This is post-Vorta, anti-Vorta. This is looking into the past and the future, and this is to do with the feminine aspect of that. And again, that's the triple goddess. One face looking one way, one face looking the other way, and one face and one thing in the middle. The maiden in the middle. The mother in the middle. The maiden on one side, and then the crone on the other side. So it's this, I don't know, we're back to, you know, and that's the 101 reference as well. If you just look at it symbolically, I wish I had the thing up, but that's the triple goddess. So there's a bunch of festivals to do with that in January. And if I go to my, I don't know where that was, Lucas numbers. If I go to my Lucas numbers, January, right here, is, yes, if we just take one of these ones, because the actual balance point that we really are looking at is between 5 and 6. This is the number of a man, and this is the number of perfect balance. Okay? And the number between those two is 5.5, is the 55. The completion of the cycle again here. So this is your Fibonacci sequence, this is your Lucas numbers underneath. Lucas numbers start on 2. 2, that's the dual nature of reality, and this is what you're trying to balance. So we're looking at the dual aspect of nature that we're trying to balance. Okay, come down here, And as I said before, this is the same thing that's in my Cross of Lorraine. So there's other interesting numbers in my Cross of Lorraine chart. But for simplicity and because I wanted to be able to see what I'm talking about, I got this one up. Here's your 101 right here. Because what you're trying to do is balance these two things. 0 is balance. 10 is balance. This is all 10 is representing is one go around the cycle. Okay, that's your first go around back to 0. If you were to draw a clock face and just go up to 10, okay, so you had 10 different points, 0 and 10 would be the same point. I don't know if that makes sense. The same way as on the regular clock, 0, 100 hours, and 12 and 24 are all the same point as well. So 5.5 is your balance, and it says it right here as well. 5.5 is the balance, which is between here. So you'll see the 58 and the 85, Back to the Future 85, you know, the year. And you'll see that come up a lot. 58 is a Donald Trump number as well. I can't remember exactly what, but here we go. So this is January, and we only actually need one of these numbers here for January. What you're trying to balance, so this should be a, you know, to balance these two numbers, you need to put it into a cycle. There'll be a 0 here, so 1018. But you've got the January, the 18th. And who has this birthday, 18? David Bowie, Elvis, and this character. And so here I'm getting to a link here now. Kim Jong-un. And he has, what does he have? You won't believe this link when I tell you it. You might know where I'm going if you've listened to my other videos. But 3 different birthdays, 82, 83, and 84. So nobody can make their mind up when this birthday is. Age 36 this year. That's interesting. He won't be 36 next year though. But his birthday, actually, he's age 36 now, so his birthday won't be till January the 8th. You remember a song, and I've talked about him before, but you remember 50 Cent did that song? Go shorty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. We're gonna sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. Okay, 50 Cent is referenced in a few bits and pieces I've been looking at. He's in Last Vegas, along with a few other characters. He's in that film, and so we've got the 50 reference, and Korean War was 1950. That's when it started. What was I going to say? There was something else about him as well. Oh yeah, he has another good song which is called 21 Questions. I thought it was interesting with the 21 again. Right at the start of that film, right, he's getting locked up in prison. And the cops are coming to arrest him. And they're going to smash down the door, and they got one of those door ram things. So we've got a ram right at the start of it that's knocking down the door, and on the front of it, on the end of it, before it hits the door, written on the end of it in like white marker, it says knock knock. And I'm like, as soon as it says that, I'm like, I think of the knock knock, who's there? So you know where I was going with that. Who's there? And so we've got these 3 different birthdays. And what was I saying earlier about? What was I saying earlier about? There's 3 different places that are all interlinked with this reference: Washington DC, Seattle, and the Hoover Dam. Because it's got to be the end of the video. I don't know. That was it, I think. That's all I wanted to say. Oh no. One last little tidbit. And for the guy, Jurassic Liars guy, here's the memorial for Princess Diana. What is it? What is this thing? It's the Liberty Flame. The same thing the Statue of Liberty holds up. If you look at the Statue of Liberty, and this is what she is, you know. This is what Diana is. She is the Statue of Liberty. I don't have a picture of it now. There it is. Oh gosh, it's not on here, and I've really got to go to the bathroom, so I've got to finish this. Too much tea tonight. But anyway, she's a Statue of Liberty. If you look at her face, she does have a similar face. And if you look at Elvis as well, he does have a similar face to the Statue of Liberty. This is the Moon Goddess right here. I know people go on about being, you know, Sol Invictus and whatever else. It's the Moon Goddess. She's holding the beacon. She's holding the Space Needle up in her hand there. That's her. She's turned green. She was copper. Venus is copper. She's turned green. The fiction is green. I don't know what else I can say about it. Yeah, I don't know. She's the Statue of Liberty. Liberty is not freedom. Liberty is something that's given to you. I think I heard that from, I can't remember his name, but liberty is something that a sailor is given when they come into port. Similar to freedom, but it's not really freedom. Anyway, let's leave it at that. You know, this thing here is the corona. This is the sun being blocked out by this thing, by her. It's the crown of thorns. Anyway, that's got to be the end of it. Cheers. I'll catch you on the next one. Hope there's something interesting in there for you. Right, bye.